Hello.
Hello.
Welcome back to
The
room that
we
we
created.
I think I told everyone and Zach that I would make a theme song for this podcast by the next episode last week.
Yeah,
I
you
think
lied.
I said that. I did not do that. Didn't do it.
Yeah, Matti lies a lot.
I began work on it.
No, really?
I did.
You didn't tell me.
Well, I actually made an entire one, deleted it because I didn't like it, and started a new one.
So do we have to make one again?
What do you mean?
Last time we made one on the spot.
A theme song?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we did. That was a good one. My brother in film.
My brother in film.
As
Today on the shit cast, we're gonna be talking about, I would say P-cast, but
Same amount of syllables as
same amount of
podcast.
syllables,
There's
so
no point
not
in,
cool.
in abbreviating that.
Not cool, not funny.
The PC.
The PC. The PC? So we're gonna be talking about films that we like. Pretty much. This is two dudes got together in a van who are like, dude, we're so fucking cool. Why don't we start a podcast? People really fucking love what we have to say. That's what we're like imitating on this episode, I think.
I guess so, yeah.
A little.
Well, the initial was the films that have shaped us. And because I think almost as much as music, I think film has impacted our lives. Maybe more so me identifying
you
with
think that film is the most, it is the S tier of just art.
I do believe that film is the most efficient form of art.
Why?
And expression. Because
I agree with you after hearing, but
I think so art is however any way you define art, which is a very, very, very personal thing. Like everyone has their own definition of art and what strikes them, and that influences the type of art that they enjoy. How they define art itself influences the type of art that people enjoy. For me, I think art is a embodiment, like an acting out of human experiences, an expression of human experience in a way that is celebratory, or in a way that helps us work through the difficulties of those experiences. So it could be like falling in love. You need to express that. And so you create some sort of almost interpretive dance of the feeling of falling in love in whatever art you create. And that's a celebratory art, an expression of a human experience. Or this deep trauma that we write out in our art and we act it out to help us work through it, or to just see the potential value that we can suck out of traumatic experiences in art, whatever. I think film is the most clear medium for that because it's storytelling, there's visual art, there's music is
yeah, all the
essential
different
to film.
medias, having all of those different medias, the potential for symbolic prosody is
poetry,
the most that you can have.
exactly.
It all can tie together.
And there's also
each thing can stand on its own.
Yeah, and if you get deep enough into cinema, you realize that there's also the cinematic equivalent of instrumental music. There is that in film, where it's like there are films that don't tell a fucking story, that are just there to exist as spectacle and just visual, just eye candy and just like experimentation. And there's like some of my favorite films sort of fall into that category, and it's like, yeah, I don't know. I think, surface level, just, I don't know. I think
Matt is a bit under the weather.
I'm extremely sick right now. It's not COVID, thank the Lord Christ. Got tested today, but I'm sick and also a little bit high on cold medicine. I'd assume that's why I feel the way I feel.
This motherfucker thinks I gave him Mucinex, like the decongestant that makes you drowsy. You fucking swore up and down.
No, I didn't swear.
You've asked me 4 different times. You've asked me 4 times.
I did.
I have not.
You gave me.
I haven't.
You gave me a Mucinex earlier. and now I feel so high. I feel so strange, and so I was questioning, like, are you sure you gave me like a day Mucinex and not some like sleep medicine? Because I believe you. I believe that you didn't, but I feel so fucking bizarre right now. I think it's because I already took cold medicine before I even came here, and then I just took more.
Yeah.
That's probably it.
Mm-hmm.
I can form sentences still though, so I think we're good.
Mm-hmm. 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 Why you get say? Okay.
So, okay, my point. I think I was about to say. I don't know, but
There's no fucking point.
I would sit through a bad movie, and that's a good experience. Like, I don't know. I love films so much that like watching a bad movie in a movie theater is still a very enjoyable fucking thing for me.
I will never walk out of a movie theater. I don't understand people who walk out of movie theaters. I don't understand it.
Oh, you mean if a film is shit or like it's bad?
Or they don't like it, or they understand that it's good. It's just they can't watch it. I can't do that. I don't understand.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, exactly. People that have walked out of films, or like all the stories of movies that are like hyped up in legend of like, oh, people fucking vomited during the Cannes screening, or people walked out. It's like, grow a fucking pair.
It breeds a bubble. It breeds a bubble for people to stay in.
Yeah, I don't know, because like I'll be the last shitty movie I saw in theaters was probably I don't know. It's been a great fucking year for movies, so it's hard to pinpoint when the last shitty movie I saw.
What was your favorite movie of the year?
Okay. We're gonna get into this further into films, because I wrote down a top 5 favorite movies of all time. My favorite 5 movies. Mm-hmm. One of them came out this year. There was a film that came out this year that worked its way onto my top 5 of all time movie list, and it was Everything Everywhere All at Once by the Daniels.
Haven't fucking seen. It's been on my list.
Jesus Christ, that movie fucking floored me. That movie, like, everything I fucking love about cinema, it tickled that, but really, it got into everything I love about anime. Like, when I was watching it, a lot of it, what I was, like, appreciating about it was everything I love about anime. Because it was such a fucking cerebral, like, or not the word, that's not that word, visceral. It was such a visceral, like, fucking, jarring, like, just circus of activity.
What's the plot?
Oh, fuck me, dude. Okay,
in a Cliff Notes, like a paragraph tops, 5 sentences.
There's a very timid, hardworking immigrant mother who discovers that in another universe, in the multiverse, she is extraordinarily powerful and connects, like, is the catalyst for a lot of multiverse hopping science in another universe. And she starts to intercept messages from that ultimate version of herself and her husband and her daughter from that other universe as well, because her daughter is sort of a multi-universal supervillain in another universe. Mm-hmm. And so she has to kind of confront the mundane likeness in her current life, in the current universe that she lives in, and come to terms with her own abilities. And the thing is, like, that's such a shitty way to explain the film, but like the themes of it were like the profoundness of the mundane and like appreciating your life, and timelines, like, as far as like almost story trees opening in your life is a huge fascination for me. Like, cause I think about decisions all the time. I think about, the butterfly effect and what if all the time. I torture myself over it.
You've seen that movie, right, with Ashton Kutcher?
Yeah. It's a phenomenal film.
I watched that when I was relatively young, and I just remember how weird it felt.
Yeah.
To watch as a young adult, maybe 12 years old, like not fully formed, but like somewhat conscious.
Yeah.
Watching that, it was just, recalling it feels strange.
That's a good movie. I think it's underrated.
I can hardly remember the plot or anything that goes on. I just remember the feeling associated with it. It was very strange. It was
quite good.
Very strange.
Yeah.
Feeling.
No, but yeah, Everything Everywhere All at Once really tapped into that existential phobia of mine of decision making and wasting time in your life and what paths you have not taken, what pastures you have left ungrazed in your story. But it addressed it like that is the main fucking theme of the movie, and it put it in my face in a way that didn't scare me at all. It made me excited about.
That's great.
It was like, oh, I don't care that there's all these things I'll never get to experience, and that's fine because I'm telling a fucking beautiful story. And then like the appreciation for the mundane in your life, and also action sequences, fucking flawless, visuals flawless.
Yeah.
Like it was a gorgeous movie.
Action sequences?
Oh yeah, it's like a Matrix-esque movie.
Oh, okay. I didn't get that. So she's just this immigrant woman, like fucking absolutely ripping and tearing Doom style.
Yeah.
Really?
It's a karate film. There's a shitload. I
saying?
can't remember if it was karate. It was the actual martial art. So forgive me, but it's a
How
martial arts
are we
movie.
Are we talking just heavy focus on martial arts, or are we talking Jackie Chan appearance martial arts movie?
We're talking like fucking. There were people that there were trained fucking stunt doubles in this movie. There was this martial arts in the movie.
Well, on the
costume design,
on the
fucking
subject
flawless.
of movies with very, very long titles, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
That was this year, wasn't it?
No. I watched that on an airplane not long ago. It was a year and a half, 2 years ago or a year ago.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I think that was 22.
Look it up.
Let me look it up. I have to look
but
it
The
up.
Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. You had been trying to get me to watch that forever,
Yeah,
and I remember.
since it
And I
came
was
out.
on an airplane, and I saw it was a free movie on the airplane because I was on a decently long flight. So they were like, okay, I think it was from Seattle. I was flying from Seattle, and to where we are, it's probably like 4 hours, 4.5 hours, and they were like, oh, you get a free movie, and I watched. On the way there, I watched American Pickle with Seth Rogen.
Oh yeah,
Which was
I want to see that
I
so bad.
fucking loved it. It was great. It was short. It was sweet. I fucking loved American Pickle so much. It is
2022.
It was
Unbearable
phenomenal.
Weight
You're
was.
kidding me.
No, I know, dude.
Why
time
is it free on a fucking airplane?
Flying.
Then again, Dune was too, but yeah,
Dune was good.
yeah. I watched that on the way back, and I thought it was gonna be like Everything Everywhere All at Once, and it's nowhere fucking close to that. It's just so funny.
It's
and
so fucking
well
funny.
written, and it in a weirdly beautiful way, not as symbolic and artistic as you would expect, but in a strange,
nostalgia trip
in a strange
of it.
way, because it's so third person from itself. It is symbolic and artistic
And super
The-
passion project
about being an artist.
yeah.
The archetype of just artistic people,
Yeah, and
creative
and
minds is
also-
so well represented.
Yeah,
in
not
that
just the
movie.
archetype of an artist, but the archetype of a icon. Is dissected in it too, but in such a fucking funny way. It's not trying to say anything in particular. It's just there. And then I'm a massive, like way too big Nick Cage fan. I fucking love Nick Cage. You know this. I was gonna get a
Nick Cave and Nick Cage.
Nick Cave and Nick Cage are my boys, but I was going to get a Nicolas Cage tattoo of his face on my fucking thigh. This is, me and like a very, very, very close friend of mine. We're gonna get matching Nick Cage tattoos.
Why don't we get it tonight?
Wh-
Why don't you get it tonight?
Where?
Tattoo.
Where would we go to get the tattoo?
A tattoo parlor. They're all over.
They're open this late?
Oh, I'm sure there's one.
Well, I'll say this.
It's 9:00. I got this one done at 2 in the morning.
I don't know if
paid
it's
over 20 for the
advisable to
guy,
get
but
tattoos when you're very sick, though.
It doesn't matter.
It's a blood thing.
It doesn't matter.
Okay, well, I'll consider that.
I don't think so.
Well, the point was, I was going to get me and a friend who I grew up with,
Zonk?
Zeke. Yeah, I've known him for like 17 years. Nick Cage is a huge meme in our friendship. Like, we love Nick Cage. It's like a big inside joke. We're gonna get matching Nick Cage face tattoos, like on our thighs, and then
don't do the fucking. We have another one we're getting on our thigh.
yes, we
Above
will.
the knee, so just leave
No,
that
no.
face
Well,
alone.
we're not getting the face anymore. After
you're not.
Unbearable Weight came out, we're getting pistols. We're getting matching pistols. Mine's gonna say Unbearable Weight, and his is gonna say Massive Talent. Because the movie was just so fucking fun. As a massive Nick Cage obsessor nerd, I was like, okay, I have to keep my expectations down because there's no way this is going to be everything I want in a movie, and it was. So
There's
I
a
almost
scene.
cried because I was like, this is so, they get the meme. They get the
Nick
meme.
is-
Like,
yeah.
they get it. It's so funny. And
There
Pedro
is-
Pascal is so fucking
There's
hot,
a scene. There's a scene where I don't think this is a spoiler. They drop acid.
Yeah.
They drop acid. Nicolas Cage plays Nicolas Cage in the movie, by the way. Pedro Pascal does not play Pedro Pascal. He plays another film writer pitching a movie to Nicolas Cage. He's playing himself.
Mm-hmm.
And Pedro Pascal slips. I think it's him who slips.
I think they just willingly take acid.
No, Nicolas Cage was not knowing that he was going to take acid. I remember that. And there's this maybe 10-minute long escapade of them running around the city on acid, driving in a car, getting so paranoid. And what is the fucking line? Oh, he's right over there. But there's a 10 or 15-minute long escapade of Nicolas Cage just on acid.
It was
Nicolas
so
Cage
fucking
playing Nick
funny.
Cage on acid, which I'm sure.
And it wasn't like typical like That 70s Show, like, you know, shit. It's
No,
just them.
It was just funny.
It's
Yeah,
just them. You don't get to see it from their perspective. You're just watching them just
be dumb.
It was
like as
such-
if you were trip sitting them.
exactly. Yes, it felt like you were trip sitting them. You know, it was. I love movies that are just like they're just fun. Like there's so much love and passion in the project. You could totally see it. That it was like a nerd like blast. That was the second best theater experience I had this year. Like that was the most fun I had in a theater this year, second only to Studio 666, the Foo Fighters movie.
The most fun I had on an airplane.
And the only reason Studio 666 is not by a large margin even close to as good as Unbearable Weight, but I had the most fucking fun in a theater watching it because I went with a friend of mine from fucking weekend, like out of the valley. I went out of town to go see this movie with a friend of mine, and we got to the theater and we were the only ones there because it was maybe the last week it was in theaters.
You know, the night that I was on Kimmel with the Foo Fighters, that was the same night of the premiere of that movie.
Right.
And afterwards, across the street at the Dolby was the premiere.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome.
Right
dude.
afterwards. It was,
Oh,
I remember
if you
that.
got to see the premiere of that, I would have killed to be at the premiere, dude. That would have been so
Yeah.
fun.
It was a whole red carpet and it was very cool. But
Yeah, the movie
I
that
didn't
movie
go to
was
the
just a
actual premiere.
fucking like B movie slaughter fest, gore fest, hilarious, really fucking funny. Everyone in the Dave Grohl is a bad fucking actor, and it was added so much to the movie. It was the funniest fucking shit. Like that movie was phenomenal. Like, and all the interviews of them talking about the movie and how much fun they had, it just warms my heart. Like it's such a beautiful little thing that happened. It's not a good movie, but it's so fucking fun. And I'm watching it alone in a theater with a friend of mine, and we're just like, ah! Like when you get to scream and just throw popcorn and shit and like run around and duck behind the chairs when something scary happens because there's nobody there. And like that, so that was the most fun I had in a theater this year. It was Studio 666. Rest in peace, Taylor Hawkins. He was the best actor out of all of them by a long shot. He was actually like kind of in it. Like I don't know if he had someone working with him for that because the other guys are just like, what are we gonna do? You know, but Taylor Hawkins was like in it.
Pat Schmear's just a mannequin.
Oh my god, he was so bad. It was perfect. It was fucking funny, dude. But yeah, Taylor Hawkins for some reason was like fucking in it, dude. He was good.
I would like to transition into something. I'm gonna talk for a little bit.
Please.
So, there's a film that has shaped me since I was born. So, as a musician, the first song I ever learned.
No, continue.
Okay, the first song I ever learned was sung to me in the bathtub by my dad. It was "Help, I need somebody help, not just anybody." Like whatever the riff and body. I don't know what it is, but that was the first song I remember learning, and it's "Help" by the Beatles.
Correct.
And I watched Yellow Submarine, the animated movie, over and over and over as a kid. So the when I'm 64, boom, boom, is always kind of like in my personality.
Yeah.
And so I love this film so much. It's maybe my favorite film of all time I think,
That's
in terms
a
of
good
artistry.
favorite film.
And
That's
it
based.
changed animation forever. People don't know this about it, but it changed animation forever. And the thing about it that's interesting is that it had almost nothing to do with the Beatles. The story of it is some dude was listening to the Beatles on, I think, psychedelics, and wrote out this fucking script littered with references to drugs and shrooms, like blue meanies and all this shit.
Right.
And just threw it at kind of Warner Brothers, and they said sure, and they fucking made this huge animated movie, and the Beatles had nearly nothing to do with it, other than George Martin, the fifth Beatle, the producer, wrote a ton of music for the film, and the group would kind of just come in every now and then and be like, oh yeah, it's looking fine, and then they do a little there's a tidbit of them at the end, but that was about all they had to do with it. And it was entirely this passion project, and it changed animation forever. It had nothing like that had ever been done before, and if it hadn't been for that film, we would not have what we have today.
True.
Pendleton Ward cites Yellow Submarine and The Simpsons as his
wow.
things that he ever did. And if you watch Adventure Time and you watch Yellow Submarine, you will see scenes in Return to the Nightosphere in Adventure Time. There is a scene that is exactly like the one where they leave Pepperland and go and they
I never knew that he cited that as his inspiration. That's so fucking cool.
Yeah, the
Holy
vacuum
shit.
thing, the ego feeder or whatever it is.
Playing footsies.
It was a Narciso or Narcissus something. Narcissus vacuumer. But it's the exact mirror. I wrote a 13-page paper on this movie in high school. I did not give a shit about anything in school other than fucking music. I would leave class and be like, I'm gonna go play, and that was just kind of fucking it. And the teachers were kind of cool with it. I didn't really do anything in class except sit there and listen to music because I got my shit done anyways.
Yeah.
Like, to as much as I could. But we had to write a paper, I remember, in English about a piece of art, and I chose this movie, and I went balls to the wall on it. We only had to do it was like a 5-page paper. I wrote 13 pages, images, like all sorts of shit. Like, I wrote an article basically on Yellow Submarine, but it is such one of the most formative movies of my entire personality.
Well, I want to about
without that movie, I wouldn't be the person I am. The lessons I learned, the music I learned, the visuals I got, the color schemes.
Do you remember what you said about the first real conversation we ever had?
It had something to do with Yellow Submarine, didn't it?
No, not the conversation. But you said we when me and Zach first met, over the course of like the first couple days we were ever hanging out with each other, ever met, we had a couple conversations that were just like, balls to the wall, like fantastic conversation. When you meet someone and then it just clicks, and then we start talking about God and the fucking life, whatever. And you told me, like, after we were done talking about some insane religious shit, you were like, have you ever seen Yellow Submarine? I was like, yeah, I have. And you were like, we are right now the two John Lennons. Do you remember saying this?
Yeah. Oh my God.
What did you say?
No, so there's a scene. Hold on. Keep talking while I chew.
You said, oh God, I don't remember what you said exactly, but you said something along the lines of like, what reminds me of when we talk to each other.
I got it.
Like, okay, got it.
There's a scene in Yellow Submarine. So there's Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, and there's the Beatles. And the Beatles travel all through Pepperland and all through the fucking multiverse of madness. And they get back to Pepperland, and they're freeing Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, basically. And Sgt. Clubber's Lonely Farts Club band are the Beatles' alter egos.
Right.
They're their alter egos. The ego self and the higher self. And so when they meet themselves, it's this beautiful metaphor for the conjoining of the higher self and the soul and the fucking mind, body, spirit, fucking temple. And it's
the
so
unification
good.
of,
But it's really just Paul talking to fucking Paul with a mustache and going, fucking. But I said that when we first met, because Matti and I were finishing each other's sentences down to the smallest minute fucking references.
Yeah.
Everybody knows you have sick references, bro. Everybody knows your references are out of control. And I said it was like the scene where John Lennon meets the Sergeant Pepper's alter ego version of himself, and they're just walking along in perfect unison steps, going, "Oh well, Einstein's theory of relativity dictates that blah, 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 blah," and he goes, "Oh well, I concur." Blah 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 blah. And they're just walking, and then it goes into "All you need is love." Bum bum ba da da dum. And goes into that.
That was when we first met. It was two John Lennons talking to himself.
Yeah, that's what I said.
That's simultaneously the cutest thing I've ever heard, and also we're both such fucking narcissists.
I saw this post about autism is just subtle narcissism or something.
Who said that?
It was like it was better than that. It was like narcissism with this and this and this. It was, I don't know what it was. It had the word narcissism in it, and it was. Oh, it was a pin. Oh, it was a pin.
Yeah, dude, people don't fucking...
No, it was perfect.
It was good?
It was exactly how I'll find it.
It almost, like, traits, like, I don't know. I feel like when you're, like, artistic and you start talking about, like, fucking shit that you're obsessed with and you know everything about, it's really hard to explain how much you fucking love something without it sounding like you're talking about it to impress somebody.
Yeah,
it's really hard. Well, this is a great fucking example of it. We're doing a whole hour talking about films that we love, and it's like it's very difficult to find.
You're hyper aware of how what you're saying is being interpreted.
Yeah. Because it's like, and it's like
how you perceive your thoughts to be interpreted anyway.
Exactly, and so it's like, no, genuinely, I just like talking about all these little things I know about it because it makes me happy to talk about it because I like them, and I want to hear yours as well. But I know that I talk in a way that it's probably coming out as, look at all the things I know. But it's like, it's not. I promise it's not. I just like the movie Drive. I just really like Drive.
Exactly.
It's so bad. It's, ugh. Oh, well.
Okay.
I had a top five. I sat down for a while and thought about my top 5 favorite movies of all time. And I came up to a concrete list. And as I looked at it on paper, I realized my top 5 favorite movies are so, like, anomalous to what I typically enjoy in general about film. Okay. Like I'll say this, my favorite genre of film by a large margin is horror. I love horror movies.
Okay.
But there isn't a single horror movie in my top 5. So it's weird. Like, I just looked at my
artistic.
Yeah.
The separation of recognizing art and guilty pleasure and like,
well, no, none of them I would consider guilty pleasures in my top 5 except for one, but which I'll get in. I'll tell you what they are in a second.
Like enjoying things and then your list is
it's
respective pieces of work.
It's just interesting that the 5 that have bubbled up to the top of my favorite.
Well, what are the 5?
Okay, so number 5 is James Gunn's Super.
I've never.
Okay.
Oh, like.
Super with Rainn Wilson.
Just Super?
Yeah, it's just called Super. Rainn Wilson, Elliot Page.
Oh, Elliot Page. I do remember
Movie's fucking bananas. This is a movie that could not exist right now. It could not be made ever again. Something like it. There are elements to it that are like pretty dated and problematic. That's not why I say it can't exist right now. It can't exist right now because it is such a fucking passion project. The pacing is very strange, and the movie is all about it's a character study about a character that isn't really interesting, and it's like it's so fascinating. It's just basically like super cute, super indie movie mixed with grindhouse action. Like literally like Juno meets fucking I don't know, The Punisher. Like, it's so weird. But this movie is just a super like what is the word? Oh my god, what's the fucking word? A very
that word?
Extreme, like, just shameless, like, fucking watch this crazy shit happen, hilarious, blah blah, bloody, gory. But then there's a couple of scenes in the movie that just like set it apart from anything else. There's a beautiful, like, screamed monologue from Rainn Wilson, who Like he just talks about like these are his values in the world. He becomes a superhero, becomes a vigilante, but he just is a dude in a latex red suit beating the shit out of people with a wrench that he deems worthy of being beat with a wrench.
Is that number 1 or 5?
That's 5.
Okay, what's 4?
Okay, great film. Elliot Page is fucking electric in this movie. You cannot. It's perfect. But that's 5. 4 is Darren Aronofsky's Mother.
Oh my fucking god.
That is a horror movie. So yeah.
That is a horror movie.
Yeah, that is one.
Jesus Christ.
That movie fucks.
That one's really intense.
That's a rough watch, dude. Like that is a rough watch. That's almost on Requiem for a Dream, like, of his. But I love that movie because it is simultaneous. It's so fucking critical of Abrahamic religion. It's so obviously like, what the fuck? And like, but it comes from a perspective of a frustrated believer almost. It's not so like Reddit r/atheism, like, it's so genuine and it's so honest and it's brutal. Like this movie's fucking brutal. Also, pacing is amazing, visuals are amazing. It's just an impressive film, like with its acting, what they were able to do, and the amount of terror, like genuine terror.
Javier
Bardem, perfect in this movie. Jennifer Lawrence, perfect. But the fact that they were able to conjure that much terror in such a quaint, like, scope for the most part. At the end of the movie goes fucking ballistic. Like there's insanity.
The end
but like no, and it's a beautiful like human condition movie. A beautiful human condition metaphor movie, but not in a way that's too preachy. It's
not in a way that's too in your face.
Yeah, no, it takes a while to think about. It's pretty in your
face, but it doesn't feel like it's being thrown at you out of nowhere.
Yeah. No, and also like it's a story about the human condition that places more emphasis on the earth itself, the physical earth, than I've ever seen a thinking movie like that do.
I felt like it put more emphasis on the literal interpretations of religious texts in some ways.
Oh, no, yeah, no, that's the main point.
I feel like it took away and went into the spirituality in the other realms more than it stayed on Earth.
No, what I mean is that more so than other movies like it covers that. It covers that aspect about the environment, Earth. Because I think about like Jennifer Lawrence's character represents Earth. This whole movie is like an avant-garde allegory story. There's not like a clear plot with characters. Essentially, it's like you watch this married couple. That one interpretation of the film is that the wife is Mother Earth and the husband is God, and you watch them deal with ensuing chaos in their home, and that's all I'll say. 4 was Mother, Darren Aronofsky's Mother. 3 is Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Okay,
we covered that. I can't believe a movie like that broke into my top 5 that came out in 2022. 2, this is the guilty pleasure. Kind of. I'm not ashamed of it, but it is bizarre. It's Zack Snyder's Watchmen. Specifically the director's cut. Specifically the director's cut. Holy fuck. And I'm a giant fan of the book. Like, I'm a fan of the novel. I think there were some creative choices that I prefer to the novel in that movie. Like, this movie gives me such a fucking vibe, dude. I mean, it's hard to fuck up Watchmen when you're just doing... I mean, obviously in the extended universe, Watchmen is shit. But, like, it's hard to fuck up the story of Watchmen. It's great. There's a lot of philosophical context to it. It's a giant, sprawling political drama.
I gotta find the photo and post it of us at Halloween.
Yeah. I dressed as Silk Spectre for Halloween once, and you were the day man from It's Always Sunny.
I was the night. No, I was the day man. I was the day
so
man. Fighter of the night man. Champion of the sun.
So good. But I think the director's cut nailed it. There were beautiful scenes. I think his slow-mo worked for the almost like... it was almost like adding a tongue-in-cheek element to Watchmen that is in the book, but it's a little bit more extreme in the movie because Zack Snyder is a fucking cheeselord. So it's like... but it added this... I don't know. It was beautiful. I love that movie. I think the acting is really fucking good too. It's a little on the nose, but I think that works for it. I love the music in it. Tyler Bates, One of the greatest composers. Fucking love the song "I Love You" by Tyler Bates off of the Watchmen soundtrack. I listen to that song on a weekly basis. That song is fucking great. It's like a shoegaze, post-rock anthem. So goddamn good. Watchmen's number 2. My number 1 favorite movie of all time, Drive. Drive by Nicholas Winding Refn. Nicholas Winding Refn's my favorite director of all time. I think Drive is a perfect movie. I think Drive is everything I love about movies. It is the ultimate aesthetic, the ultimate vibe. The lights hypnotize me. The music is perfect. It introduced me to a new genre of music that I now love very dearly. The acting is so good. It's a very Shakespearean type of movie. It's very like tragic, you know, in aesthetic. It's super tragic, and it's all about wanting to be a hero and being mesmerized by the things you can't have, the life you want to live, the type of person you want to be, and being held back by the grime of the life you are currently in. And you get so desperate wanting to escape that you become capable of horrible violence. You know, some of it is justified, some of it is questionable. And the whole movie is that beautiful, violent character study, but under just saturated, self-indulgent synth and fucking neon lights for no reason. And it's so beautiful. And the LA River has never looked more appetizing than in this film. I went to LA for the first time. The first time I went to LA, I went to the LA River with the picture of it from Drive in my head, and I was like, that's nasty. Yeah, that's gross. But Nick
there's
Refn
the
made
fucking
it look
fish from
like
Futurama
heaven.
are in there. The fucking 3-eyed mutant fish.
Nick Refn has not made anything I dislike. I love his art very dearly, and I think he has such an interesting view of humanity, and he portrays it in such a colorful and like fetishized way. Like he's just like he's obsessed with certain aspects.
It's
of
like
the
it's
human.
like watching a metaphorical stripper. It's like watching a strip club. It's like being inside a strip club filled with the most beautiful paintings you've ever seen.
Yes.
That's what I was trying. I was circling around some. Because
there's dense.
That's where. That's it.
There's philosophically dense shit in all of his work, but it's painted in this like very self-indulgent, just super aesthetic way.
It's like if the Mona Lisa, instead of its frame, had those fucking RGB neon lights in every fucking freshman at ASU's room.
I agree.
And
he's been, you know, like I also think there's a bit of a sub commentary about toxic masculinity and Drive, and I think which is phenomenal.
Speaking of, after my top 3, we have to talk about American Psycho.
Oh my god!
And I have a special guest to call.
Okay, cool.
I have a special guest to call, but are you still talking about Drive?
No, I'm
not really gonna get into my top.
Refn's gonna come up over and over again in the series of this podcast because that's another person I'm obsessed with.
Yeah.
So that's all about Drive.
My top 3 in like no real particular order. That's a revolving door. I've already mentioned Yellow Submarine, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Fuck yeah, that movie's so good.
I've seen it 3 or 4 times. It has destroyed me every time more than the last.
Yeah, Charlie Kaufman is a genius director. Genius.
I'm Thinking of Ending Things is also beautiful.
Yeah, being John Malkovich. Scary.
And then The Big Lebowski.
Yes,
I love The Big Lebowski
to
death.
So good.
I love it to death. Walter, put the fucking piece away, man.
Dude, I cannot like that. That's a movie that like is so wildly fucking entertaining. Like, there's not
anyone who gives a shit about the rules.
Like, dude, even though I've seen it a million goddamn times, there's not a second like I can walk up and get anything during that movie. You know what I mean? Like, even though I've seen it 100 times, I'm not gonna step away from that film once. Like, I gotta pee before it starts. I gotta get all my snacks in a row because like, it's so entertaining.
If I'm not there when he's like, Donnie, you're out of your element.
Yeah.
If I'm not there, be like, this is not a guy who built the railroads, Walter. This is a guy who peed on my fucking rug.
Coen Brothers are I think there's only one Coen Brothers movie I haven't seen yet.
And then, what was it?
I can't remember the name of it.
I showed you Big Lebowski.
Yeah, you showed me Big Lebowski for the first time. Yeah.
And then the other one that's up there, it's not like that's up there with us, is A Clockwork Orange by Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah. Flawless film.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's so
so
good.
are we American Psycho?
Yeah, we have a guest to call.
We have a guest to call. I want to preface this by saying it's likely not gonna. We're probably not gonna talk about American Psycho at all. This podcast is about to go off the fucking wall.
We'll introduce the guest.
This is my brother. This is my brother, Odin. Odie. I grew up with the motherfucker. I love him. All the love in my heart. We're gonna call him, and I'm so excited.
He requested to be on the podcast, correct?
I also wanted him on.
Well, yeah.
Really bad. I
Yeah.
wanted him on really bad, but this is. I told him I'd be calling. If he doesn't answer, it's gonna be so anticlimactic.
Okay, we'll figure something out.
I think. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I'm gonna FaceTime him.
Odin.
I told them. They were ready, but we'll see. I'm sure they'll call back in like a minute or two. Odie's stinky brother. He didn't answer the FaceTime. I'm gonna call him on a speakerphone.
American Psycho is one of those films, one of the few films I think is far better than the book. I think the book, everything about the book is more.
You have the a mic that picks up more.
Oh, okay. That was anticlimactic.
That was anticlimactic, the bastard.
Oh well.
The bastard. Odie.
Oh well.
I just texted him. Answer.
Okay. Well, while we're waiting on that,
I'll put my ringer on.
nice. American Psycho, there is a musical of that I fucking adore. There's a musical of American Psycho. It was made by Duncan Sheik, the man who made Spring Awakening, or contributed to making Spring Awakening. I think he did just the music. I can't remember.
The thing that I wanted to talk about, Aaron's American Psycho, is the absolute gorilla grip that it has on men right now.
Yeah, it's bizarre. Because even
the movie, Patrick Bateman is a loser in the book.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
And it's all satirical. And like Chad
movie
culture
is pretty
culture has taken it so far.
Well, the thing is, the movie, it's like pretty fucking crystal clear as well. It's similar to Fight Club, you know? Like,
Fight Club's better.
on the commentary aspect of it.
Like Fight Club is better.
It's just a better film.
Yeah.
I agree, but it's close for me. I really do love American Psycho.
Yeah.
I think American Psycho is more about... American Psycho comes from a place of less care about the issues that it's commentating on, I feel like, than Fight Club. Because Fight Club seems like a genuine, like... Especially the books. Like, talking about the books is like... Fight Club seems like a genuine thing of like, this is what happens to displaced men who fucking, just while searching for meaning, grab their masculinity as their identity and then become radicalized, Like it's almost like the exact opposite interpretation of Jordan Peterson's view of what men should be like. I feel like if everyone listened to Jordan Peterson, we'd have Fight Club in real life.
But what's funny is the person that I can think of the most who is like Patrick Bateman, the whole fucking incel Patrick Bateman, like, what eggshell line with the offset coloring?
Yeah.
You stupid bastard.
Yeah.
Stupid bastard. That is Andrew from the Jesus Ali story. And Andrew is so into Jordan Peterson.
Jordan Peterson fucking ruined everything.
Stupid bastard.
Like, dude, oh my god. Like, fucking...
my God.
No, literally, there is a weird subculture of the Venn diagrams meet in this fucking absolute hellscape of when they intersect film bros, Jordan Peterson lovers, and fucking gym dudes. There's a little thing in there.
I feel like you gotta throw an album in there just to make it weird. Like beer bongs and Bentleys. Throw it in and just see what happens.
What? Like give a guy like that?
I ain't explaining.
Yeah, no.
I know what it is in my head. Why you could say so?
No, I think like the thing is, Jordan Peterson, I feel like his philosophy assesses the same issues that Fight Club does, have been like, okay, displaced men that search for meaning, men that search for, in the absence of traditional Western religious values, what are they going to cling to now? Like, that's the question that's posed by both Fight Club and Jordan Peterson, but Jordan Peterson's prescription of it is basically like, well, it's your fault. It's everyone else's fault that we got to this point, And Fight Club's thing is like, men should fucking...
It's a satirical...
Men should grow the fuck up.
It's a satirical gay rom-com.
Yeah, it's a satirical gay rom-com. I feel like the message of Fight Club, that's a little... I do genuinely love that movie, but it's much clearer in the book that the message is like, if you're a man that disenchanted and displaced by your state in the world, you need to fucking grow up and adapt, instead of pointing at like fucking Tyler Durden's line of like, we're a generation of men raised by women. I'm thinking another woman's not what we need right now. Like that's the line of like, they did this to us. You create this.
It's pointing fingers.
Yeah, it's pointing fingers, and it's saying, like, I'm not allowed to be a man now. It's like, who said that? You're the one equating all these fucking toxic traits to men. If you think that now that we say you can't do that, we're saying you can't be a man,
Yeah.
And it's like, that's Jordan Peterson too.
The mirror. That's
Jordan Peterson, and it's like, and it's so fucking funny to me that a lot of people that fetishize that film, there's a decent chunk of them who also listen to Jordan Peterson, and it's just like, whoop, like the message just right over the head.
That seems to be the case with all of them. The message just goes right over the fucking heads of anybody who's looking to see what they want to see.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also to still interpret the universe in such a general, big picture, ontological way in a gender binary. It's like you're missing the entire point of existing. Like, what is the purpose of life for men? It's like, purpose is not gender specific, And if you're approaching reality like, well, I'm a man, what does that mean? How should I live my life? It's like, you're a human, Gender is a real thing in a social and, metaphysical sense of how we embody in the world, but it's not, that shouldn't be a factor in deciding your place in the universe. Like, you know what I mean? And I feel like when you place your identity that far in your gender, especially if you are cis, like gendered people, that grasp onto their masculinity, it's like, what does that even mean? Like, it doesn't mean as much as you think it means. It's like, everything is more fluid than it appears. And I think that's extremely frightening. And that's why, we need to create boxes and boundaries so everything's easier to navigate. But it's like, it's not going to make it easier.
Well, I feel like this might be biased, but the Batman, the new Robert Pattinson Batman, also had a similar subculture. But it wasn't as toxic.
No, it was not nearly as toxic.
It was like the opposite.
It was funnier.
It was like the men who are chads, but like because they're on their own shit, because they're on their own fucking grind, and like they're a little fucking depressed. They listen to Radiohead, Deftones, and shit. But like they're not out and like manipulating women and like kind of thing.
Yeah, it's less
it's
of
like the loner kind of version of it, but the glorified stoner.
Yeah, it's the glorified like
it's the cool guy.
It's the cool guy.
It genuinely is. I feel like the Batman's incel culture wasn't bad.
It wasn't nearly
liked it.
as bad.
I related to it.
It's hilarious. And it was also much more playful. Like, Yeah, no, I feel like people that identify with the Batman. This is such a stupid fucking conversation, but I love it. Like,
No, I don't know.
people
Really.
that identify with the Batman, the new Batman, it's more like pain. You know, it's pain in a sense of like my pain, you know? But people who identify with Tyler Durden are more of like the pain that's been inflicted on them by the world.
And
you know?
and when you get that mentality, when you start to think that it's been inflicted upon you, you will never change.
No, never. And that's why it's so fucking rich when the Jordan Peterson heads and conservatives talk about, oh, victim culture and everybody wants to be a victim now. It's like, bro, that's you. Like, that is you doing that, actually. This like white replacement theory.
Yeah,
and like,
about
I
a
can't
victim.
be a
You ate
man
some
anymore.
You got hospitalized for eating some fucking bread.
Like, yeah. The weight of the world. Just like, yeah,
the only
you know.
victim here is fucking Jordan, victim of yeast.
Yeah, victim of fucking drinking apple cider and going into a fucking coma. No, but you know what I mean, though. It's like it's sheer projecting. Like they look at what they call SJWs and like liberal culture and like, oh, it's all victim. Everybody wants to be a victim, and it's like, but you're the ones that go on and on about how you can't say the things you want to say anymore, and you can't do the things, and they're replacing men, and they're you know the erasure of men. And
No one's trying to replace you.
Yeah.
No one's trying to replace you. Just shut the fuck up. It isn't about you.
Yeah, no, literally.
Bo Burnham, either get with it or get out of the fucking way. And it's like, at the way it's being done is so low level noise floor. It's a noise floor. Mm-hmm. It's like a 20 hertz rumble that just won't go away. You know, it's just muddying up the song. But
no, I feel like that's just so rich that they're the ones that have that talking point. It's so fucking funny to me. But regardless, I think film. We were talking about movies.
Well, this is how movies influence the culture.
No, it's certainly true. People that attach certain meaning to things. You know, I think one thing that it has been a little bit. You want to talk about a movie that says things about culture in a radically profound way? Jordan Peele's Nope that came out this year.
I didn't get to see that yet. That's on my fucking list.
I won't get into it then. You need to see that raw. But Jordan Peele in general, like,
you watched that last night?
Fucking genius.
Right?
What?
Did you go to the movie?
Oh yeah, I did. I had a Jordan Peele marathon last night.
Yeah.
It was very, very sweet, very nice. Yeah, I am so goddamn. We're so fucking privileged to be alive in a time where there's so many auteur directors like working right now with major budgets and like a mainstream spotlight on them. Like this is crazy. Mm-hmm. Like genuinely, like the fact that we are alive in a time where Nicholas Winding Refn, Tarantino, Jordan fucking Peele, Denis Villeneuve, all of them are actively working at the same time. Fuck, that's cool. Like and anyone who talks about golden age like Hollywood and like born in the wrong generation of movies is a fucking moron, not paying attention.
Absolutely.
Like holy shit, we're living in a, and say what you will about Tarantino, like he's obviously got serious flaws.
He's
but
fucking
like,
brilliant.
Yeah, as a creator,
Oh
like
my
yeah,
God, I love fucking Tarantino.
Yeah, no,
art.
he's
Are you kidding
fucking
me?
something else, dude. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I think about that movie on a regular basis. So fucking fun, but. Yeah.
Have you seen the original like cast list for Pulp Fiction? It's so interesting.
Who
he had in mind for each role.
Yeah, I have, but I don't remember.
I forget his name, but the part of Vincent was written for the guy who played Buck in Kill Bill.
Whoa, that's weird. That's interesting. There was a YouTuber who did like casting Pulp Fiction today if they were to make a remake, and who he would decide to put
Timothy Chalamet
as Vince.
No, as Marcellus Wallace.
No, God.
It's Timothy Chalamet as Marcellus Wallace.
Who else? What do we got? Fucking
Mark Wahlberg as Bruce Willis's part.
Yeah. Jared Leto is the fucking blueberry pancakes. No, blueberry pancakes girl. The fucking
girl?
French. Yeah, Jared Leto is her.
Like full Dallas Buyers Club.
Oh God, don't get me started on that. opinions about that. But
oh my god. Well, directors. My favorite director is Kubrick, as I've mentioned.
right.
And I would like to talk about Kubrick
Mm-hmm.
because Kubrick had an IQ of like 200. He was one of the most brilliant people of all time. And if you talk about working, like talk to an actor who's worked with Kubrick, they will do the same thing 40 times.
Mm-hmm.
And to the naked eye, it's like, to them, it's like the same thing. But to him, it's like the symmetry. And he was so fucking meticulous and genius. Everything meant fucking something. And there's this thread through every single Kubrick movie that I've kind of noticed, and it's pretty obvious. I'm positive there's people who know and think this way.
Yeah.
But it's the fucking waiters. It's the waiters and the fucking bartenders. The people who serve the protagonists and antagonists in the fucking movies. Every Kubrick film, there is this ethereal quality to all of them.
That's fascinating.
And what's funny is that if you think about it, they don't do anything. They literally walk up and they just like, can I take your drink, sir? And they go, absolutely. And they hand you the drink and they walk away. Kubrick will shoot that like 40 times just to get the way that they walk differently, like to the centimeter.
Yeah.
And and that meticulousness is what creates this feeling. And it is this ethereal feeling that the waiters and the bartenders are omnipresent of the story and the characters. It's this feeling that they know something that not only the main characters don't know yet, that we, the audience, don't know yet.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to think of all the Kubrick films because I have not
Think
seen...
of the bartender in The Shining.
Right, obviously.
Right, that
was
one's
the first
obvious.
one, I thought.
But there's this scene in Eyes Wide Shut where Tom Cruise goes up to get the fucking password from the jazz pianist, and he's like, oh, Fidelity and all that. And the waiter it's like he knows everything that's gonna happen. His manner just feels that way. We just get this ethereal feeling from him, but I can't pinpoint exactly why. It's just a combination of elements in the frame or whatever energy.
Well, you know what I
that
noticed?
Kubrick is sensing.
Yeah, I know. When you said as soon as you said Eyes Wide Shut, I was like, oh, I can see it in that one too. Like, because when you said it initially, I first thought of The Shining, obviously, but then like Eyes Wide Shut, like, yeah, that is so weird,
isn't it?
There was when I was watching,
it's so difficult
they do those
to figure out why.
classic movie nights at Harkins on Tuesdays, where they'll show an old ass movie. The last one I was able to catch was The Shining, and so I went and saw The Shining in theaters, for the first time. And one thing I noticed was like, even in the most mundane exposition heavy shots of just two characters speaking, you could take any moment of the film. If you had a camera set up filming the screen in a movie theater and just had it go off and take a picture at any random point in the film, whatever it lands on, that would be a perfect album cover. Every fucking frame, even the boring frames of people just talking, getting from A to point B in the next part of the story, even every fucking frame of a Kubrick movie is pretty.
It creates this surrealist energy that we as an
audience,
hyper
reality.
It makes us as an audience just feel immensely on edge.
Yeah.
Good or bad, we don't know what the fuck is going on, and it's a little concerning.
Yeah.
But it's like our curiosity. It's so genius. In 2001, a lot of people say his magnum opus is Eyes Wide Shut. Not nearly my favorite Kubrick movie.
What is?
I think it's A Clockwork Orange, but his best movie, his most meaningful movie, is 2001. That movie is... It's like it holds the secret of the fucking universe in it.
Yeah.
The way it goes through time, it talks about shit that I believe in, about time not being linear in the 70s. Take Interstellar, without 2001, we don't have it.
Yeah, that's
it's
a good
like
point.
Everything about Interstellar is in 2001 subliminally. It's genius. That fucking 10-minute scene of them warping through time, it's like... I think it's Kubrick's masterpiece. I really do. And I think we haven't even begun to find out what's written and hidden into that movie.
Yeah, that's a pretty reasonable take. Like, that movie is fucking legend. Like, have you seen Dr. Strangelove? That's a Kubrick film.
That's the one I haven't seen.
Okay, yeah. I haven't
That's the one I haven't seen.
The Dr. Strangelove is hilarious and like weirdly terrifying. It's a comedy, really. It's a war comedy. And like
Full Metal Jacket too, by the way.
Oh yeah, Full Metal
is
is fucking great.
it's just
That's another very scary film.
that
Like,
one is that one's difficult to watch in weird ways.
if I remember correctly, the only like advertised as a horror, like this is obviously a horror film that Kubrick has made,
It's
is
The Shining.
The Shining. But every one of his movies is fucking frightening.
Yeah.
Like they're all scary
But
films.
but if you dissect the dialogue and the plot, it's not. It's just the way he puts it together.
Right.
It's this feeling of something's going on that we don't know, and it's putting me on edge. It's unsettling me
Yeah.
because something's not right. And the thing about Eyes Wide Shut is the controversy about it. That is absolutely. So the controversy around Eyes Wide Shut, which was the last Kubrick film ever made. It stars Tom Cruise and his then wife. What was her fucking
Katie
name?
Holmes.
No. Like her.
Old
Tom,
Swift. Pre-Scientology Cruise.
yeah.
Or post-Holmes Cruise. Pre-Holmes Cruise.
Post LRH Cruise.
Fuck.
Oh my god! In a minute, I gotta talk about that fucking.
Oh my god. Fuck Scientology, dude.
So,
Holy shit.
There's this. So it was released
Pin,
in the.
put a pin.
It was released in the '90s. Eyes Wide Shut, and this movie is, even for now, it's like a lot. But for the this movie is. They wanted to give it like a X. Like it,
Yeah.
So like there's so much nudity, and that he even dialed it back. Like he put underwear G-strings on all of the women models, which there are hundreds of naked women in this movie because they go to a party where masked people are having grotesque sex with each other, and it's very metaphorical and symbolic.
Right.
But
Sounds like a
the thing about it is that
Average Tuesday.
obviously this is not a movie that Warner Brothers is gonna fucking like.
right.
And it's all about like a little bit. There's these underlying tones of elite people like doing this sick shit,
right.
right? And it's not really sick, but it is. Like it's kind of it's in a way treating women like slaves, I would say, to go as far as to say that in this context. Old white men doing whatever they want with
Yeah.
women. And there were 28 minutes, I think, 23, 25, 28, one of those numbers of footage that was cut out of the film. They said when they first watched it, Kubrick sat down in the room and he showed it to Warner Brothers, and they walked out in silence. No one said a word to Stanley. It was the Stanley Parable. And they said, you need to take these 28 minutes out of this film.
Oh, it was one continuous section of 28 minutes. Wow. Okay.
I said, you need to take this 28 minutes out of this film. Kubrick said no. The film was going to be released with the 28 minutes in it. 2 weeks from release date. It was Stanley Kubrick. He was getting what he wanted. Warner Brothers was furious about it. This movie was going to be so controversial. 2 weeks before it releases, with the intended 28 minutes, Stanley Kubrick dies. And after his death, they cut the 28 minutes.
I did not. That's fucking nuts. I never knew that shit.
Immediately after his death, cut the 28 minutes.
Holy fuck.
So
dude.
there's a lot of conspiracy as a movie about elitist people, elitist hierarching Illuminati type figures having control or power over this world and power over women and using them as slaves and having this fucking insane society.
Yeah, Epstein shit.
Epstein shit is just the umbrella of Epstein shit. A movie with 28 minutes that Warner Brothers wanted gone in a movie about Epstein shit. Kubrick says no, he dies, and it's gone. So there's a lot of controversy.
Dude, Warner
that
Brothers doesn't give a fuck,
that those
bro.
28 minutes were gonna expose a lot of people. But the thing about it is the movie is already fucking, like, without the 28 minutes, insanely jarring and fucking X-rated. So if they were pissed about those 28 minutes, what was so bad that was in them?
Right.
And
Dude,
and after the movie was done filming, Tom Cruise and his wife got divorced because they played a married couple in the movie, and it was so intimate between them. It showed like her going to the bathroom on the toilet, which had never been done in the 90s. Like, it was so intimate on a married couple. They couldn't take it. They got fucking divorced. That plus the Scientology.
Right.
It destroyed their marriage, and Kubrick destroyed them mentally.
Damn.
But that was those 28 minutes of film
gone.
Who fucking knows? Probably in a fucking box somewhere. If they let.
Dude,
if they
Warner
wouldn't burn
Brothers
it.
is such a shameless fucking. Oh god, I love so many Warner Brother IPs, but it sucks because like that hearing that of like the no shame of like this man's masterpiece. They're gonna chop up his masterpiece after he's dead and he can't defend
Nicole
himself. Nicole Kidman. But then also what they did to Zack Snyder. I hope I'm not being disparaging. I'm pretty sure it is Warner
versus
Brothers.
Superman was my least favorite movie.
Oh
of
yeah, Zack
all
Snyder
time
is not. Yeah,
until I watched the director's cut, and it's
all right.
It fixed
it's pretty
everything
good.
that I had
It's
a
pretty
problem
good.
with.
No, Zack Snyder. What they did to him with the Justice League is like I don't know why no one talks about how fucking cold and heartless that was. Like honestly, that's worthy of like shit. Like his daughter died, and they were like, okay, let's give your passion project to Joss Whedon while you're grieving. Sorry. No vacations for you. We need to get this movie made. And then Joss Whedon shits all over it, makes one of the worst superhero movies ever made.
And Zack Snyder
It just has to watch Zack Snyder grieving, has to fucking watch his masterpiece, get fucking annihilated in front of him. And then obviously, his redemption arc with the director's cut of that was epic to watch. I was very like, I'm glad he got that. But like, Jesus Christ, Warner Brothers doesn't give a shit. Also, Zack Snyder is not I'm not a huge fan of Zack Snyder. I know I said Watchmen is my second fucking favorite movie of all time, but I think he did an amazing job with the Snyder cut. It's a great movie, and I'm not a DC fan either. But sorry to derail that.
Yeah.
Talk about that Scientology thing.
So the Church of Scientology has their own award ceremony, like the Grammys or the Oscars, and it's this glorified, like almost JW style, like weirdly cult. It's culty.
It's I mean,
obviously, and Tom Cruise wins like best guy every year.
Yeah,
he
man
wins,
of the year.
He wins Scientology's man of Xenu every year or whatever the fuck. Which this is real if you haven't in the texts. Oh, I have so much. Now I'm going to talk about Scientology. I'm just going to talk about it. After the Tom Cruise thing, I got to talk about how the fucking bar bet with LRH that's on record.
Oh my god, yes.
So Tom Cruise.
I'm gonna leave you alone in the room for a moment. I have to pee very bad.
I'm so terrified. Should we just make a cut? We're just gonna make a cut.
No. Don't cut.
Matti, we're almost at time. Okay, hurry, go.
Go, continue, entertain.
Oh my god, okay. So, hello. This is the room that we're creating. Now. So, there's this video of Tom Cruise accepting this award. He gets up on stage. Oh yeah. And he starts immediately not like thanking anybody like really in his life, or even saying like I'm like that I could do this thing, thanking people to where he could get to where he is. He gives all the credit to the man who just handed him an award, which is immediately culty. And he starts talking about L. Ron Hubbard, the guy who wrote the Book of Scientology. And he just starts like referring to him. He's like, LRH, the big guy, and he keeps pointing. He keeps pointing like up and to the left, as if it's, like as if you say, oh, like I want to thank, I want to thank God. It's like you point up to heaven. And so I'm interpreting him on this just absolute LRH dick sucking fest of I say like a lot. He keeps saying, oh, LRH, all the credits LRH, our guy, our big guy. And he's pointing up to the heavens. And I'm just thinking, oh, that, he keeps pointing. And then the camera pans away, and I realized that he was not pointing up metaphorically. There is, in fact, a 200-foot tall painting monolith of L. Ron Hubbard directly to the left of them. The camera pans out, a mob of people. Woo! Yeah. And it's like watching the Third Reich fucking praise a photo of Hitler.
Dude, it
like
was
a giant
so bad.
Hitler painting. I just remember the look on my face, because the whole time he's just going, oh yeah, LRH, the big guy. And I'm thinking, like God, like, oh, I want to thank God, I want to thank God in heaven. And just pointing up. No, there was a fucking 200-foot tall fucking painting, and you could look this up.
And if I remember correctly, he addressed the painting. at a certain point. He would go like, "Oh, like it was."
Yeah, that's what it was too.
And it was so hard to tell if he was metaphorically talking about like, "Hey, L. Ron Hubbard."
It wasn't
it
just.
felt really like he was talking to
It wasn't just. I want to thank L. Ron Hubbard. I want to thank LRH. Up there. I want to thank LRH. At certain points during it, he would refer to it in third person, like LRH.
Looking at it
our
in the
guy,
eyes.
LRH. That's our guy. I want to thank him, and he keeps looking at it, and then occasionally he would refer to it and go, "You, him, right there," kind of thing. And then they
really felt like they believed that thing was his
him.
essence. It was him.
But watching it as an omnipresent, I would have never. I thought he was just referring to metaphorically, and they pan out, and I'm like, what the fuck is that?
It's so fucking amazing.
Anyways, the thing with Scientology is there was this bar bet that L. Ron Hubbard had, and he was a science fiction writer. Right. L. Ron Hubbard was a science fiction writer, like H.P. Lovecraft kind of person. And somebody in a bar he was in, I believe it was, a random or a friend or something, said that his books were shit, insulted him. And L. Ron Hubbard said, and I believe this is on record, I heard this somewhere, but the story goes that L. Ron Hubbard said, "I'm such a good writer, I could write a fucking book about whatever I wanted, and people would believe me, and it would be a fucking new religion. If I wrote a book, a science fiction novel about a religion, I'm such a good writer, people would fucking believe me." And they would pray. And he said in this story, the story goes that he said, quote, "and they would see me as a god."
Yep.
And the dude said, "No, Cap." And now we have that clip of Tom Cruise praising LRH.
Yeah, Scientology is a goddamn monster. A genuine, just like pure pay to win. Almost. My boobly.